Get ready for a winter of sharp contrasts across Europe, where the weather will keep everyone guessing and on their toes. As we look ahead to the 2025-2026 season, it's clear that this winter will be anything but ordinary, from bustling city streets to remote mountain villages. The coming months promise a dynamic mix of conditions that will challenge even the most seasoned locals and travelers. December will start off on a milder, wetter note, with persistent rain showers and damp conditions dominating much of the continent. But as the calendar flips to January, brace yourself for a dramatic transformation. The new year is set to usher in a powerful shift toward colder, snowier weather, especially across northern and central Europe. Cities that begin the season with umbrellas and rain boots may soon find themselves digging out snow shovels and layering up for icy winds. What's behind this winter's unpredictable mood swings? The answer lies in the powerful interplay of global climate forces. A developing La Niña event in the Pacific Ocean is already influencing atmospheric patterns, while the ever-volatile polar vortex above the North Pole threatens to unleash bursts of Arctic air. These two forces, acting together, will set the stage for a winter that's full of surprises and rapid changes. The result? A true roller coaster of temperature swings and precipitation. Some regions will experience relentless rain, while others could be blanketed by heavy snow. Sometimes within the same month, or even the same week, the weather will shift quickly, making it difficult to predict what's coming next, and requiring everyone to stay alert and adaptable. For city dwellers, this could mean a December spent dodging puddles and gray skies in places like London, only to be caught off guard by a sudden, intense snowstorm in February. The contrast between months will be striking, and even familiar routines may be upended by unexpected weather events. Meanwhile, ski resorts in the Alps and other mountain regions may face a slow start, with limited snowfall early in the season. But don't lose hope. Forecasters expect a turnaround, with heavy snow arriving later and transforming the slopes into a winter wonderland. This could mean a late surge in ski tourism and some of the best powder days arriving after the new year. With so much uncertainty, this winter will demand flexibility and quick thinking from everyone. Planners, travelers, and families will need to stay informed and be ready to adjust their plans at a moment's notice. Whether you're booking a holiday getaway or simply commuting to work, keeping an eye on the forecast will be more important than ever. Our analysis points to a colder, snowier finish for many parts of Europe. Expect a steady pattern. Instead, prepare for a season of ups and downs, with sudden cold snaps, surprise snowfalls, and the occasional mild spell. The only certainty is that surprises are in store. Understanding these shifting forces and staying updated with the latest forecasts will be key to navigating the dynamic winter ahead. Whether you're planning a trip, managing daily life, or just hoping for a white Christmas, Europe's 2025-2026 winter season promises to be one for the record books, full of challenges, excitement, and plenty of weather-driven stories to tell. To forecast what this winter might bring, meteorologists turn their attention thousands of miles away, to the vast expanse of the tropical Pacific Ocean. This region, though distant from Europe, holds a powerful influence over global weather patterns, acting almost like a conductor in a symphony of atmospheric changes. Right now, La Niña is developing across these warm waters. This natural climate phenomenon is marked by cooler-than-average sea surface temperatures in the central and eastern Pacific, and it's one of the most important drivers of seasonal weather shifts around the world. When La Niña cools the Pacific, it doesn't just affect the tropics. It sets off a chain reaction in the atmosphere, shifting wind patterns and jet streams that ripple outward, touching every continent, including Europe. These changes can be subtle or dramatic, but their reach is truly global. In Europe, La Niña often encourages the formation of what's called a Greenland block. This is a persistent high-pressure system that parks itself over Greenland, acting like a barrier and disrupting the usual west-to-east flow of weather systems across the Atlantic. When this block is in place, it can force the jet stream to dip southward, opening a pathway for frigid Arctic or even Siberian air to surge down into Europe. This can lead to sudden cold snaps and a greater risk of wintry weather, especially in the northern parts of the continent. As a result, northern Europe often experiences colder and drier conditions than usual, with crisp, frosty days and a higher chance of snow and ice. Meanwhile, southern Europe tends to get wetter and stormier. The altered jet stream steers more storms toward the Mediterranean, bringing heavy rain, gusty winds, and sometimes even flooding to countries along the southern edge of the continent. As winter progresses, La Niña's influence often becomes more pronounced, especially in the second half of the season. This can mean a shift from milder conditions to colder, snowier weather as we move into January and February. But remember, La Niña is just one piece of a much larger puzzle. Other powerful forces like the polar vortex and unpredictable atmospheric shifts can either amplify La Niña's effects or completely override them. These elements interact in complex ways, making each winter unique and sometimes surprising. So while we can't rely on La Niña alone to predict every detail, its presence is a strong hint that Arctic blasts and colder spells are more likely later in the season, especially for northern and central Europe. In the end, La Niña acts as a background signal, a crucial clue for forecasters, but not the whole story. The interplay of global weather systems means that surprises are always possible, and Europe's winter forecast remains a fascinating blend of science, probability, and a touch of unpredictability. High above the Arctic, the polar vortex is winter's wild card. This vast, spinning mass of cold air sits like a crown atop the planet, circling the North Pole in the upper atmosphere. It's invisible to the naked eye, but its influence stretches far beyond the Arctic, shaping the weather patterns of entire continents. When the vortex is strong and stable, it acts like a fortress, locking frigid air in the far north. This keeps much of Europe shielded from the harshest Arctic blasts, resulting in milder, wetter winters, with more rain than snow. Cities from London to Berlin often see gray skies and drizzle rather than deep freezes. But the polar vortex isn't always so well behaved. If it weakens, often triggered by a dramatic event called sudden stratospheric warming, or SSW, the fence that holds back Arctic air can break down. This allows icy winds to plunge southward, bringing a sudden and dramatic shift in weather. These disruptions can unleash severe cold spells across Europe, sometimes weeks after the initial stratospheric event. Streets that were recently wet and mild can be transformed overnight into icy, snow-covered landscapes, catching many off guard. The infamous Beast from the East in 2018 was a classic example. That winter, a weakened vortex unleashed a wave of Siberian air, blanketing cities like London and Paris in deep snow and causing travel chaos across the continent. For the upcoming winters of 2025 and 2026, early signals are already raising eyebrows among meteorologists. One key indicator is the extent of Siberian snow cover in autumn. When Siberia is buried under deep snow, it can set the stage for a more unstable vortex, increasing the risk of disruption, especially from mid to late winter. This is why our forecast shifts from mild to cold as winter progresses. The atmosphere is dynamic, and these subtle signals can tip the balance, turning a gentle winter into one marked by sudden, sharp, cold snaps. While we can't predict the exact timing or intensity of these events, the current atmospheric setup looks primed for significant, cold outbreaks in the new year. Meteorologists are watching closely, analyzing every shift in the stratosphere and every uptick in Siberian snowfall. The polar vortex's mood swings could define the entire season, making the difference between a forgettable winter and one for the history books. So, stay alert for sudden, high-impact cold snaps. The next big shift could be just around the corner, and preparation is key to weathering whatever the polar vortex throws our way. December 2025 will likely be mild and stormy for much of Europe. A strong jet stream will drive Atlantic storms, bringing rain, wind, and above-average temperatures to western and central Europe. The coldest air stays locked in the north, so snow will be rare outside Scandinavia and the mountains. Southern Europe will see wetter-than-average conditions with rain at low elevations and early snow in the mountains. This stormy pattern is a classic La Niña signature, steering storms south and keeping the continent unsettled. Don't expect a white Christmas for most. Winter's real drama comes later. January 2026 is the turning point. Expect a shift from mild to much colder conditions. High-pressure blocks near Greenland will disrupt the jet stream, allowing Arctic air to surge into Europe. The first half of January may still be unsettled, but by mid-month, temperatures will drop and snow will become more frequent, especially in the north and center. The polar vortex's influence will start to be felt, with cold air damming up and pushing out the Atlantic's mildness. Expect more frosts, the first major snowfalls in cities, and a surge in energy demand. Ski resorts in the Alps will finally see the snow they've been waiting for. This sets the stage for an even colder, snowier February. February 2026 is prime for a major Arctic outbreak across Europe. With blocking patterns and a likely polar vortex disruption, frigid air could plunge deep into the continent. Expect a week or more of sub-freezing temperatures from Berlin to Paris, with the potential for significant disruptive snowfall. An easterly beast from the east flow brings Siberian cold. A northerly flow brings Arctic moisture and heavy snow to coastal areas. Snow bands could blanket cities unaccustomed to heavy snow, like London or Rome. Southern Europe may see rare low-elevation snow and colder storms. Even after a cold spell, recovery will be slow. February will define the winter. The risk of transport chaos and energy spikes is highest now. This is the month to watch for memorable winter weather. Europe's winter will be a patchwork of extremes. Northern Europe, Scandinavia, and the Baltics will see a colder, snowier season, especially after December. Western and Central Europe will swing from mild, wet Decembers to harsh cold and snow by February. The UK, France, and Germany could experience dramatic shifts, with Siberian air reaching deep into the continent. Southern Europe will be stormy and wet, with mountain snow and the chance of rare lowland snow during cold outbreaks. Eastern Europe is set for a formidable winter. Persistent cold, heavy snow, and long-lasting snowpack. Each region faces unique challenges, from energy demand to transport disruption. This winter's contrasts will test resilience across the continent. Arctic blasts and polar vortex disruptions have real impacts. Major cold and snow events can paralyze cities, transport grinds to a halt, commutes are disrupted, and snow removal strains resources. Energy demand surges, risking higher prices and potential shortages. For ski resorts, late-season snow is a boon, drawing tourists and boosting local economies. But for most, extreme cold means extra precautions, preventing frozen pipes, avoiding slips, and planning for travel delays. Vulnerable populations need extra support during severe cold. A snowy winter brings both challenges and opportunities, demanding flexibility and preparation. Nature's power will be felt in daily routines across Europe. With a volatile winter ahead, preparation is crucial. Use mild early weeks to ready your home, check heating, insulate pipes and seal drafts, prepare your car, service it, fit winter tires, and keep an emergency kit. Stay informed, monitor forecasts and heat warnings for sudden cold snaps or snow. Dress in layers and look out for neighbors, especially the elderly or those with mobility issues. Expect a cold, snowy finish, more challenging than recent winters, but not unprecedented. Sensible precautions and community support will help everyone navigate the season. Stay alert, stay warm, and be ready for whatever this winter brings.